Hello, fellow female activists. Today we are back learning about mental fitness. Okay, Cathy is here, and I am a fellow female activist as well as a wellness coach. And I would love to be your wellness coach. So, if you are new here, welcome. And if you are used to what we're about to do, then get ready. For anyone new, we are going to go into what I like to call positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps. Okay, it's a PQ session. So get comfy. It's similar to meditation, so you want to be in a safe place where if you feel necessary, you can close your eyes. More importantly, just as long as you're feeling safe and you can continue on and listen to me. Okay, so this is how we start all of our videos because it's a way to be centered, and that's the whole point of all this. So this time, we're actually going to keep our eyes open. All right, so here we go. Please, whether you're sitting, standing, or laying down, go ahead and focus on something in front of you. It can be a wall, can be, whatever is in front of you. And with great intention, go ahead and look at that, whatever you're looking at. Notice its textures. Notice its shape. Notice its colors if it's possible. Notice what's around it. Don't think too much. Just really concentrate on what you're looking at. Can you see the dimensions of whatever you're looking at? Your mind will wander, and just bring it back ever so gently to what you're looking at. Now go ahead and look at something else. Okay, so choose something else to look at. This time, though, you're going to use a soft gaze. So almost like you're trying to tune it out, right? So not such a concentrated, but just barely bring it into focus. And your mind will wander, and just bring it back ever so gently to the soft focus that you once had. And now you can close your eyes if you wish, or keep them open. With that still soft gaze, though, go ahead and take one of your hands and move it against another surface, just the fingertips. What do you feel? Again, your eyes can be open or closed. What are your fingertips feeling? Is it warm? Are they causing any friction? What's the sensations that you're feeling? Go ahead, blink your eyes open if they're closed, and come back. That, my friends, again, is an open eye version of PQ repping. All right, so there are many, many ways to PQ rep, and we can always learn more about that. But today, we are learning about mental fitness. Okay, so totally makes sense to get you into the right mindset. So, again, if you are familiar with the channel, that we have a wellness umbrella that I talk about. Okay, so there's a lot that goes under wellness, right? So today, all right, is one of the reoccurring topics about mental fitness. So what I am sharing with you has a lot to do with positive intelligences, okay? Positive Intelligence is a company, right? And they have their mental fitness certification, which is what I am working towards. And they also have a foundational mental fitness program. So this is where all this comes from. But neuroplasticity, right? That's a big word, but neuroplasticity is something that we as humans all have. It sits up here in our brain and it's quite phenomenal. So again, I want to always reiterate the fact that our mental fitness is directly related to our physical fitness. In fact, it's actually the precursor to any strong changes in physical fitness. Once you realize that your brain controls everything, then you'll realize, oh, wow, I can do anything with my physical body as long as my mind is in the right place, correct? So neuroplasticity is part of that, okay? So anyone here who is already very familiar with neuroscience, okay, I am a student in neuroscience, but neuroplasticity is something that we all have as humans in our brain. What that is that our brain, and so here's what I want to get at. Again, those watching are probably in the perimenopause and menopause phase of life, okay? And that's cool. I am too, probably closer to menopause, all right? But more importantly, even though chronologically I am level 50, age 50, I already know because of neuroplasticity that I can actually have a different physical age, okay? Meaning that my brain isn't necessarily chronologically 50 as well. Meaning there is chronological age, right? There's physical age, and then there's your mental age, right? Well, guess what? Because of neuroplasticity, I am able to actually retrain my brain at any stage in life, assuming that I don't have any actual brain damage of any type. I can actually train my brain because of neuroplasticity to grow and to continue to grow. So that age-old adage, you can teach it, or you can't teach a dog new tricks, or you can teach a dog new tricks. I forget which one it is. I believe it's the first one. You can't teach old dog new tricks. Well, guess what? You absolutely can. Specifically, you can teach other humans and yourself to learn something new. Our brains were meant to just keep on growing. And that's a gift. That is a huge gift. All right. So mental fitness is a big part of that. So the stronger that I can make my three core muscles, which is understanding that my saboteurs are always talking to me. That's number one core muscle, to even be aware of your saboteurs. Number two is to make my sage come alive, to make sure that my sage then takes over. Instead of a negative perspective, I'm using my sage or positive perspective. That's core muscle number two. And then number three is to take self-command. So those three core muscles for mental fitness is what neuroplasticity makes possible. Okay. So neuroplasticity is something that we all have available to us. Without getting too in depth, okay, into the brain, although it's marvelous and it's so much fun. Well, let me put it in the terms of a habit. Okay. So we all know, or at least we've been told, that it takes 21 days to create a habit. Now, that's not false, but there's a little more you need to know. So 21 days of creating some type of new habit is absolutely true. And the neuroplasticity still needs to keep growing. Okay. It still needs to keep stretching. That habit is formed at 21 days, but the actual neuron is very, very small. Okay. The line from one neuron to another is so thin. It needs the neuroplasticity of repetition, though, to make that habit stronger. So theoretically, yes, you can start and a new habit can form at the day 21. And because of neuroplasticity, you actually require repetition. And it's after day 67 that habit has now become what we would call automatic. Okay. Everything that we pretty much do every day is on autopilot. Neuroplasticity makes that possible, right? We continue some type of action long enough, and then we create, again, a new pathway, a new neuron pathway for that new habit. That pathway is what, again, needs to keep getting stronger, though. So day 67, or I should say day 21, is when your actual habit started, your brain realized, oh, she's making a new pathway. Let's help it out. Day 21 is when the brain recognizes, oh, this is a new habit. I'm going to start doing this now subconsciously, or at least going to try. But it's not until day 67 and thereafter that it becomes automatic, i.e., your subconscious takes over. Then, okay, day 180 is when something becomes embedded, meaning the neuroplasticity is so strong that it would take something really dire to break that neuroplasticity, that chain of basically the habit. So it can take upwards, right, of half the year to actually create a habit that goes automatic and that is helping you. Now, I say all that to say this, neuroplasticity is what makes that possible. It is so freaking awesome. And what's beautiful is that neuroplasticity never goes away. Our brain is continually creating new neural pathways if you're willing to do so. Meaning, us activists are always up to something, right? We have plans made for the next event with our community organizers. We are planning for, the campaigns that are coming out. It's just ongoing. We are constantly creating new neural pathways, and it's neuroplasticity that makes it possible. Interesting enough is the fact that you are willing to create neural pathways when necessary, right? When it comes to saving the planet, which is awesome. It's a necessary. When it comes to whatever the case is, right? And then you get a little bit less sure of yourself when it comes to self-care. You tell yourself, oh, well, I don't need to worry about this particular situation with my health or with my mental fitness. It's going to be okay. Why is that? That's your saboteurs talking. Your main saboteur, the judge, is telling you, oh, you don't need to worry about that. Well, guess what? Yeah, you do get to worry about it. And it's something that should be very, very much on the top of your list. There's a reason, right, that when we're on a plane that we're told, make sure you put the mask on on you before you put it on someone that, is younger than you. You can't help someone if you're unconscious. So it's important that you realize that self-care is absolutely the mask that we require moving forward, okay? And neuroplasticity absolutely makes it possible. No one, okay, can tell you scientifically that there's nothing that you can do about a situation with regards to your mental or physical health. No, no, no. Mental fitness absolutely will help you gain the confidence necessary to realize whatever I'm willing to put myself through for anyone else and any other, let's say, just working on your social justice, let's say, you're willing to go to the ends of the earth to make change for others. That's wonderful. But guess what? That same neuroplasticity applies to your own self-care. That's imperative to understand. So again, we will tell ourselves, oh, I'm putting all my effort towards this cause. Well, that's wonderful. But guess what? That's neuroplasticity. And if you can use the neuroplasticity for others' service, for others of being of service to them, okay, you can use your neuroplasticity for yourself. And I bring this point up because you will tell yourself all day long that I can go for miles and miles of service to others for whatever reason. But yet, when it comes to your own self-care, you'll say, oh, I don't have time for that. Or, this isn't worth it. Whatever you've made a story. Well, guess what? Neuroplasticity works both ways. Okay. So you can decide to go the path of, I'm not going to go this way and help create newer pathways. Or we can go the way of, you know what? I can find a way. And you absolutely can. Habits is just a matter of deciding, am I going to make this habit happen or not? That's pretty darn simple. But neuroplasticity, unless, again, you have some type of unfortunate brain disturbance, you will always have the ability to create new neural pathways through neuroplasticity. So at any age, whether that's chronological, physical, or mental, at any age of your life, you can definitely create new habits that are going to be more beneficial to you. Okay. And then in this current environment, we need all the self-care we can possibly get. Self-care is not selfish, as we've been told, and it's also necessary. It's absolutely necessary because if you are depleted and then you try and encourage others when, the situation is kind of dire, it's not going to work, right? As women, we are so ready to help others, to nurture others. And yet we're willing to put ourselves last. How is that ever going to work out in our favor? It's never going to work out in our favor. So we get to put self-care first. And then we can be even more dynamic. We can be even more energetic, correct? For what's up ahead, okay? To help the community, to help the whatever the movement is. But I really want you to realize neuroplasticity is a wonderful way to create space for yourself, right? Meaning that if you're willing to learn a new habit or a new skill, whatever the case is, for whatever you're up to, okay, whether that's professionally, in social justice or, whatever movement you're part of, right? You're willing to put in the work. That's awesome. That's neuroplasticity. And that should also mean that you can give yourself space when necessary. And that means space for self-care. It means space to slow down, actually. All right. It means the space to fill your time with what makes you happy. Right. So neuroplasticity has many different functions in the fact that when you're willing to keep your mind open, keep your perspective in sage mode long enough, you will find that there are many different ways to approach any particular event, any situation. And then you find the moment. You meet the moment the way you want to. It's almost like you're moving in slow motion and you can take whatever road you want, but you're deciding in advance. I want to see myself make this type of decision more often. Neuroplasticity makes that possible because it's given you space, right? So again, mental fitness, absolutely top of the list here. It's part of our overall wellness, right? So mental fitness, physical fitness, spiritual fitness. But again, we all have the capability to create neuroplasticity, or rather, I should say, to create change, create positive change habits for ourselves because of neuroplasticity. It's hard to say. But I really want you to, again, you don't have to dive into neuroscience. Okay. I'm a nerd. I love neuroscience. But I want you to really just understand how completely remarkable our brains are and realize it is as simple as saying, yes, I want to try this. That's all it takes. Okay. Meaning when you tell yourself that you can and you cannot, or you cannot, either way, you're right. Correct. So let's do our best because of neuroplasticity. Let us tell ourselves, I will always make time for you, or I will do my best to put you first. And I can guarantee you will see the change immediately and how it, again, empowers you. All right. Nothing I'm saying on this channel is ever going to punish you. It's all about giving you the understanding that it's always been inside you. Your empowerment comes from the inside out. All right. Not from external factors ever. It comes always from within. All right. So I think that's it for today. Yeah. Your call to action. Hey, whatever you were thinking that you didn't have time for, and it's about self-care, even if it's something that you think is selfish, like maybe you want to go watch a movie, or maybe you want to have a binge, on one of the streaming channels. Guess what? That's still a form of self-care. Now, of course, I want you to make sure you feed yourself and that you take care of bio needs during that binge. But either way, what are you going, that your call to action today is, what are you going to do for yourself? That is, in fact, self-care. Okay. I would think a binge is more of possibly indulgence, but there is the element of rest in there. So by all means, take the binge if you want to. But I leave you with that. Your call to action is decide what is the next way in the next 5 minutes, in the next 10 minutes, whatever time frame, but what is the next time I'm going to give myself a moment of self-care? Yeah, it counts. All right. So because of neuroplasticity, I know that you will then think about more ways to give yourself more self-care. Awesome. All right. So like and subscribe and share, and we will see you next time around. All right. So until then, take care, take charge. God bless.